Welcome back, everyone. Recently, I asked 100 MBAs globally, what was the biggest benefit of your MBA degree? And I got all kinds of answers, and I ranked the top 7 for you in this video. So if you're still thinking about whether to spend the next 2 years and 200 grand on an MBA degree, this video is for you. Number 7, find a life partner. This is probably one of the most misunderstood benefit of an MBA. A lot of people would ask me, hey, can I find a life partner if I do an MBA? And my answer to is probably not. Don't get me wrong, MBA is perfect for dating. You have so much free time, you have all of your classmates that you hang out with, and there are so many social events for you to meet new people. So that's perfect for dating. But if you want to find someone you can get married with, then there are 2 obstacles with MBA. First of all, because you're at school, so once you graduate, you might go to a different city or a different country, and the long distance is usually hard. And number 2, MBA is typical for lacking commitment. And it's not just for dating, it's for everything. So for example, if you want to ask an MBA over for dinner at your house on Saturday night, they will always say yes. And then on Thursday, they might text you and say, oh, we just had a school event booked on Saturday night. Can we do Saturday brunch instead? So of course you're going to say yes. And on Friday, they're going to text you last minute and tells you that they have to go on a school trip or like a road trip with their friend. And that basically canceled the entire dinner or brunch that you were preparing for. So if you wanted to look for a life partner, MBA is not going to be your best bet. You will much better off if you just stay more active on dating apps or attend more local events. If you like what I'm talking about here, like and subscribe. Number 6, I want to do an MBA because I think it's really good for starting my own company. Even though there might be a few cases where MBA students started companies successfully, but most of the cases, people decide not to start an MBA immediately after school or during school. If you look at the stats, even for a super entrepreneurial school like Stanford GSB, only about 15% of the students would try to start a company within 1 year after they graduate. This is very typical. An MBA wanted to start a company and they're looking for a technical co-founder. So they go over to the engineering school on campus and try to find the first CS students they see and pitch their idea. Hey, do you know how to code? I have this brilliant idea of starting this blockchain-based creator economy startup that will really transform how people watch videos in the future. Are you interested? If you are, I can be your CEO and business co-founder. I'm gonna keep 80% of the equity, and you can be my technical co-founder and keep the remaining 20%. What do you think?
Oh my God!
So if you're thinking about starting your own company or are unsure about what company you want to work on, whether you want to be an entrepreneur, doing an MBA might reduce your chance of becoming a founder. Why is that? First of all, you are going to bleed your bank account at an incredible speed, and that's going to drive you nuts if you are thinking about becoming a founder and not having income. Second of all, MBA gives you this safety net that makes you feel that you can always find a job after 2 years. So even though you're working on something during business school, you don't really put in 100%, and you can easily get distracted by the coursework and all the social activities that are happening. So that's why starting your own company is probably not a top reason why you want to do an MBA. Number 5, I go to business school because I wanted to learn about general management. I think it makes a lot of sense because the business school teaches in a very unique way, i.e. the case method for most of the schools. It gives you enough context so that you can learn the theory with example, which is like one of the best teaching methods. And in addition, business school usually have this great non-disclosure policy, i.e. the employer is not allowed to ask for your GPA. And as a result, students don't have to learn to optimize for the GPA. They can just learn whatever that they're interested in. It's one of the best things that happened to me in my learning journey. However, a big however, if you have done a little bit of research about business school, you would know about the golden triangle. And what is that? Academics, social, and recruiting. But you just have such a limited time. Oftentimes you have to choose 2 out of the 3, and there is a trade-off calculation here. And most people would give up academics. So why do most people give up academics? Even though business school has one of the most unique and I would say effective teaching methods, which is much better than most other master or undergrad programs, you're still learning in the classroom. You don't really internalize those knowledge and skills effectively. So there isn't an urgency for students to prioritize learning, which will not directly add value to their career development. Number 4, I want to do an MBA so that I can upgrade my resume with a much stronger brand. When I got into MBA and started recruiting, I thought that the hiring manager and the recruiter must be dying to talk to me because I had this shiny brand on my resume. So I started applying one company after the other, and in total I applied to probably 100 companies over the course of 2 years. And only a very few handful of them got back to me. Whoops. And then I realized, oh my God, relevant job experience is more important than brand, and Stanford GSB could only get me that far. So I think definitely a top MBA school would open a lot of doors for you for the rest of your life, especially if you didn't go into an elite school for your undergrad where you had never worked for a company with a super famous name. But I just wanted to warn you that a brand value can only get you so far, and that basically was very well testified by my own example. So just bear in mind that in addition to the brand value, you still have to do a lot of hard work to recruit for your dream job. So next I'm going to talk about the top 3 MBA benefits that were truly, truly amazing for me as well as a lot of my friends. Number 3. I wanted to do an MBA because I want to join an amazing community of both your classmates and amazing alumni. The community is really gold. So let me tell you a story. So I was an MBA student at the time, and during our spring break, I have like a 2-week gap that I have no plan. So I had this like most random idea of testing out how powerful our alumni network is. So I reached out 20 alumni from our alumni directory who actually are currently living in Brazil. So I basically typed, "Hi, I am an MBA 2 student from Stanford GSB class of 2019. I have a week time that I'm going to visit Brazil, and I have no friends there, and I really wanted to learn more about your countries. If you have time, can we grab coffee?" As simple as that. And what happened was almost half of them got back to me. So in a month's time, I found myself landed in Sao Paulo and visited amazing company, amazing people. So some people treated me the Brazilian dessert açaí in Sao Paulo. And I also went on a tour for a recruiting company, egg freezing startup. And I was also talking to amazing founder in one of the most famous brands in Brazil. So they're like amazing people. I was talking one after the other, and they basically filled up my entire itinerary. And that was also one of the most memorable trips I've ever had in my life, because I just realized that this community is so powerful, and I definitely wanted to give back and contribute to it when somebody else reached out to me in the future. So that's why business school is so powerful. You are in this amazing community with huge energy. So whenever you reached out for help, so people is always going to trust you, and they're going to try their best to help you out. So number 2, I want to do the MBA because I want to pivot into a new industry. Indeed, pivoting into a new industry is one of the most important reasons why people do MBA these days, except for my consultant friends who had a return offer to go back to their previous employer who was going to sponsor their entire MBA. So I was always so jealous of my consultant classmates who have a return offer and they don't have to worry anything about recruiting during their 2 years. They're truly partying for the whole time, which was amazing. If you look at the stats of how many people pivoted a career after MBA, based on Stanford GSB, about 65% of the students actually change industry. Take myself as an example. I came from an investment banking background, purely a finance student, undergrad, and then I did 5 years from investment banking. And then I decided to pivot into tech, into product management. First of all, thankfully, a lot of companies offer MBA dedicated track for product management recruiting, so I was able to take advantage of that. So secondly, MBA give you a lot of opportunities to do internships, both pre-MBA and during MBA. Especially in the summer, that is the perfect time for you to pick up a 12-week or 10-week internship to gain relevant experience into the new industry. And that is going to be critical for the success of your recruiting. Last but not least, the biggest benefit of an MBA was not covered in the Golden Triangle. So it's not about learning business skills, it's not about expanding your network or pivoting into a new industry. The biggest benefit of the MBA is to give you permission to dream big. So we grew up in a way where we were always rewarded for success. And ironically, we become very good at aiming low as a result, because aiming low can actually maximize your chance of success. When you go to business school, the school is going to put you in this amazing global community of classmates and alumni who are truly inspiring. Their stories are going to inspire you to dream big, to give yourself permission to aim high again. I still remember when I was sitting in this classroom, Tony Xu, the CEO and co-founder of one of the largest food delivery platform in the US called DoorDash a few years ago. He came back as a guest speaker and he was telling us how he founded DoorDash during his time at GSB. I've heard these stories many times in the past from different founders, and what's different this time was he was sitting in that classroom a few years back and he was telling us when he was trying to found DoorDash, he has to use all the paper from printer in our library at GSB so that he can print enough flyers for the restaurants when he was founding this tiny startup called DoorDash. So because his sharing was so vivid, I could almost picture myself doing the same thing. I almost feel like I could have a similar idea as him, as Tony Xu. I could sit in this classroom. I could steal all the printing paper from our library to bootstrap this new company. So these stories really instill a sense of confidence in my classmate and I that make us feel that we could think big and have fun and try something new. This is kind of what Phil Knight told us in the past, that he couldn't tell us which paths we should take on, but he can at least tell us which one is going to be more fun. And that one is going to be the path of thinking big and changing the world.